Folks, in this episode of 2020, How to Build a Computer, in this episode really specifically gaming computers, how much storage do you actually need? All right, so computers these days, have a mixture of M.2 NVMe's, M.2 SATAs. You've got hard drives, 2.5 or 3.5, and you have something like this SATA SSD. Now over here looking at a X570, this one has two M.2s in it, and you can have up to 3 from what I've seen. Alright, so let's start first and talk about your drive that you're going to have your operating system on. Now, the days, in my opinion, are gone of having your OS on a mechanical hard drive, right? These things are just super slow. And really, they're only good for storage, in my opinion. So something like this 2.5-inch SATA SSD, for a little while, these were the way to go, right? But honestly, they're kind of, they're not the fastest thing in the world. And, for the money, it doesn't make a lot of sense buying something like this when there's other alternatives out there. Now, for most of you, this is probably going to be a decent upgrade from a hard drive, right? Now, next up would be your NVMe's or M.2s or your M.2 SATAs, right? NVMe's are faster than the M.2 SATAs. So for the money, let's not even talk about M.2 SATAs. Let's just go straight to NVMe. So there are various sizes. In this case, I've got 128, 120, 120s. We've got 250, 500, 1,000, some other 500s. Now, these will go out to as big as 4 terabyte, I believe, if I've seen recently. That'll set you back quite a bit of money there. And most gamers do not need to spend that much money on a M.2 NVMe. So strategy-wise, you're going to make sure your OS fits on the M.2 NVMe. And preferably you have a big enough drive to fit your favorite video games on, right? So right now we're doing a lot of Warzone on the channel. We've got some Doom Eternal going on. I can't say that's going to be my favorite game, but Warzone definitely is. Fortnite is definitely a favorite. So those games need to be on pretty much, what we'll call our C drive, right? Our operating system drive. Now, from there, I got a ton of other games that, personally, they ain't the greatest in the world. I'm not necessarily proud that I own them, but I do own them. So those would go on a secondary drive, right? So that secondary drive might consist of something like this. And to be honest with you, what I'm finding is, and I'm not even a serious gamer, is that, having 1 terabyte is not enough, right? So we're going to go from this. We're going to look at a couple of my gaming rigs, the i9, the Ryzen 9 that you've seen on the channel, and just look at the hard drives on them and get an idea how full they are, what the sizes are, how many of them that I have, and go from there. All right, that's coming up. So for right now, though, just blindly saying, most people, your OS should be at least a 250, preferably 500. For those of you who can afford it, go 1,000, I'd say. And for your storage, 1 terabyte's probably not going to be enough. I would say for most of you, probably start at 2 terabytes. And you'll be a lot happier later, right? It's a huge pain in the butt later to add that extra hard drive when you could have just did it right off the bat. Considering the price of mechanical hard drives, not that much difference between the price of the 1 and the 2. To go from 2 to 8, another story, but to go from the next size, not as big a deal. So my ideal computer, though, would have at least 1 terabyte for the OS, a second 1 terabyte NVMe in there, and then we would also have some additional storage. Now, I've got all these drives. Kind of ridiculous, but we also have a lot of computers on the channel. We're always testing stuff out. So it's kind of one of those things, you got what you got, right? So might not have the biggest storage, but I got a lot of different drives to store on. All right, so we're going to take a look at my Ryzen 9 gaming rig here and my i9 over on the left side. Look at both drives. We'll look at it with some screen captures and just basically talk about the overall hard drive sizes and honestly how big a pain in the butt it is for me when you see how full some of the drives are, moving stuff around, changing stuff. And at this point, this might explain my thoughts on why I'm saying go bigger with the OS. All right, so let's check it out. All right, folks, let's first start looking at some of the games I have on here. Now, we've got World War Z, Fortnite, Ace Combat, The Outer Worlds, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty, StarCraft 2, CSGO, Modern Warfare, Doom Eternal, Star Wars Battlefront, Battlefield 3, Anthem, Battlefield 1, The Cycle, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, Mass Effect, Andromeda. Now, I think I actually have a few more games than what actually shows up here, at least on this computer. So there's Grand Theft Auto 5. So we also subscribe to Origin, so I can get any of the Battlefield games. So I'm surprised Battlefield 5's not on here. Uplay, I've got Far Cry New World on there, and I think I've got at least one other game. We've got something on Steam that's not showing up, and then we also have let's see, yeah, I think that's about it, folks. So on this computer now, let's look at the drives. Okay, so obviously I have quite a few drives in here. For whatever reason, my phone isn't plugged in, but it's showing up. That's weird. So here's our OS right now. Oops, you guys don't need to see that. 476 gigs, and it's red. 10.2 gigs free. So this is actually not a good thing, right? You don't want to get this drive close to its max capacity. You'll start to see things start acting up. So I always find myself emptying this drive, and I always find myself, trying to move things around. So I've got a few things installed on here, obviously, which is, kind of having an effect. Plus, when I do my video editing, those files, and you can see here 33.9 gigs of that stuff is on this drive. So always constantly starting that battle. So, and this is a 500 gig, right? So most of you should be happy with that, but yours truly should have went 1 terabyte. All right, so next drive up, I've got the D drive. This is a this should be a mechanical drive. It's kind of hard to tell which one's which. This is either a Sabrent Rocket or a mechanical drive. Yeah, this is a Sabrent Rocket. So this computer has 2 M.2's NVMe's in it, and you can tell, I'm filling this thing up, right? We got quite a few games in here. Another drive that we have. So if you use the PCI Express adapter, you can stick in an additional M.2 NVMe, M.2 SATA. So we have a third. This computer actually has 3 NVMe's in it, 2 on the board and then 1 on the card. Okay. Now this is my old Sony PS4 hard drive in here. So this is a 2.5-inch drive, 2.5-inch mechanical hard drive, and then we also have another hard drive in here, a 1 terabyte. Okay, so look at how full all this stuff is, right? And what does that add up to? You got 2 terabytes here, 3 terabytes, 3.5 terabytes, and out of that I've got about a little over 500 to 600 gigabytes free. Okay, so I'm already needing a bigger drive. Now,
what am I going to do to fix this? You know, install another drive. So it's gotten kind of ridiculous how many drives I already have here. We got, all right, folks, in this video, we're going to see how big some of these games are when they're installed. So popular games out there, CSGO. It takes up 21 gigs, which is really not that bad, actually. Doom Eternal, which I just started playing, about 35 gigs. This Ace Combat game, which is just okay, 46 gigs. And then here's a whole plethora of different ones. So Modern Warfare, super popular right now. This is actually just to play the Warzone game. 79 gigs. Black Ops with the zombies, 141 gigs. Far Cry New Dawn, 40 gigs. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, 62 gigs. Grand Theft Auto, another super popular one. Oops, sorry. Let's try that again, folks. 88 gig, almost 89 gigs. StarCraft, which should be small. I did it again. 25 gigs for StarCraft, that's amazing. Cycle, a free game, 17.2, and a demo here, Ghost Recon Wildlife, 70.9. So you can just see if we run this over that and do properties on those games, you need substantial hard drive space. So if you only think you're going to do 500 gig drive, you're probably going to run out of room and be uninstalling games all the time, which is annoying. So these days, I'm going to say recommendation, get yourself at least a 500 gig NVMe M.2 and a 2 to 4 gig hard drive, 3.5 inch, to store the rest of your games on. So primary games that you really like will be on the NVMe SSD, and the rest of them will go on your hard drive. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe. Thanks.